At this moment, we are less than 7 weeks away from November's midterm elections, and this week all eyes are on Georgia.
The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows two tight races there.
That's right. Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock has a slight 2-point edge over GOP challenger Herschel Walker, you see in the stats on your screen. And in the governor's race, Republican incumbent Brian Kemp has a slight edge over his Democratic challenger, Stacey Abrams.
So for more on these two very close races, let's bring in CBS congressional correspondent Nikole Killion there in Atlanta. Hey there, Nikole. So let's start with the Senate race. Tell us why it's so close.
Well, I asked that question of Senator Raphael Warnock, and he said, I'm just going to leave this to the pundits because polls are sometimes up, polls are sometimes down. And, if you've been watching this race for a while, it really has been going back and forth. Obviously, with our polling, we have Warnock up by 2 points. But look, a lot of it just comes down to this divide, really, between Democrats and Republicans and kind of the way some of the candidates are viewed. In terms of our polling, many find that, Senator Warnock is very likable. They give him high marks, high favorability marks, whereas with Herschel Walker, it's more so about, voting for party. And maybe they're not as big of a fan of Herschel Walker, but it's more about, backing the Republican candidate because they don't necessarily want a Democrat back in office.
And you've been there speaking with voters and looking into this issue. How do folks in Atlanta, or Atlanta, as they say it, how do they feel?
How they say it,
That's
Errol?
how they say it down south. I spent some time there.
With his British accent.
I was going to say Hotlanta.
There you go. See?
Because it is hot today.
Nikole knows. So considering all that, though, how do the voters feel about the candidates? Because in some cases, it's about policy and it's about who may do the best for the state. But often, too, it's about how they feel about who's on the ballot. What sense are you getting?
Well, and I think that's what's really interesting about our polling because, in the case of Raphael Warnock, look, his favorability and approval rating is higher than President Biden, which is significant in the state. And so many voters also in our poll giving him high marks as somebody who has, moral character and is a role model, is more experienced. And that's kind of a sentiment we heard a lot in talking to voters. They feel that he has proven himself, in these first year and a half of being in the Senate, that he's experienced, and, for the most part, they feel that he's qualified and has gotten the job done. In terms of Herschel Walker, he appears to be less likable compared to Raphael Warnock. And again, it is more so about not wanting another Democrat in office. In terms of some of the Republican voters we talked to, they just said they like him. They feel that he is a fresh face. Keep in mind, he's very popular down here, being a former football star, playing for the University of Georgia, Heisman Trophy winner. So, people do know his name. They do remember him. But that being said, he has had some stumbles. He has had some gaps. There have been some questions about, his personal background. And so that is also some of the reasons that I think particularly some voters may have some hesitation. But, other voters I talked to said, hey, one voter in particular told me, nobody's a saint. And so some voters do seem willing to look past some of those issues.
So much drama in these races.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the economy, because I heard Governor Kemp really campaigning on that. How is that playing out in the race for governor with Kemp versus Stacey Abrams? A major redux of a significant election.
Absolutely. This is a rematch from 2018. The only difference is now, Governor Kemp is running as the incumbent. And again, kind of what's notable in our polling is that many Georgians feel good about the direction that this state is going, and they feel things are going well, especially relative to the rest of the country. A majority of registered voters here in Georgia telling us that they do feel that things are going better relative to how they may be going economically in other parts of the country. And that is something that is not lost on the governor, and I asked him specifically about that and what he plans to do differently running this time around.
All right, Nikole Killion, we appreciate it. It'll be very busy where you are, reporting from Atlanta, as some call it, or as you call it today, Hotlanta. We appreciate your reporting. We'll see you again soon.